Alright, here we go. God of War Hardest Difficulty, Part 3. And today's just going to be a little different because I'm going to be streaming until 3 instead of 2. Yesterday ended off just getting into Alfheim. If you are going to be playing it on the hardest difficulty, you probably want to be nice and prepared, since once you get into Alfheim, you are not going to be able to go back until you finish. To prepare, you can do lots of various side quests back in Midgard. There is one from both Brock and Sindri, the dwarves that you've met so far. They would give you side quests. You could go do them. I did not. I didn't really see the point. You don't really have to by any means, but they would make this point easier. Alright, so let's get into it.
I think you killed it. Whoa, what's that about?
Not our concern, boy. Focus. What does it say?
Something about an eternal war for the light. I don't get it. Both sides need it. Why not just share it?
Greed. You will find it a common cause for war.
Alright. So, obviously, new realm, gonna have new enemies, so it's gonna be a few new strategies on how to keep up with some of the new ones that I will try to go over. Oh, whoops. Sorry, looking away. I'm just gonna let him die. Nah, redo that there. Okay, so as I said, new enemies, new strategies for fighting some of them. Overall, though, it's really not too difficult, not really anything crazy.
They keep murdering the lighthouse.
It is war. The end of one. The robed one's lost.
They will have this ranged attack they do that I would highly advise not getting hit by. It will really make it hard to see. There's also less of a benefit now to juggling some of these enemies into the air unless they are frozen. Only because they have wings, they will quickly react and like kind of fly backwards and get out of the way. When you do stun these enemies, you can quickly redirect them, and if you do it correctly, you will be able to redirect them into enemies and do a bunch of damage and even kill them. And similar to enemies with shields, these guys can block your axe throws, though if you still want to hit them, just throw the axe behind them in a manner that allows you to redirect it back so it hits them as it passes through them. Luckily, if there's only one guy, you can usually just have Atreus be tripping it up, stunning it a bit while you're just wailing on him, and they'll go down pretty quickly.
What are they attacking us for? We didn't do anything.
More will come.
Ugh. Where's this stuff even come from? Did you say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Soon we'll be able to translate those Muspelheim runes.
You're correct. Soon we will.
At least we're getting closer to the light. Hey, Sindri. Could you wait? Let's get started.
Okay, so this is about the point when you can start getting new gear if you have the deluxe edition that's actually better than that starting gear. Whether you're going more defense or offense is up to you. Both will work. However, I tend to prefer offense, so that's what I'm going to be going with. The gauntlets, however, do not need to be replaced since they are already a superior version since we did that side quest.
I don't suppose you could try making that claim?
Now, also at this time, they've got a lovely, lovely axe handle available that I'm going to be buying and using quite a bit. It's got a chance that when you get a nice little precision throw with your axe, that you could get a rage burst. It helps out quite a bit just keeping your rage at pretty much max. And then if you combine that with the Talisman of Eternal Fury, you can also get a rage burst by using it, and then it increases the amount of rage you gain just in general, and then the duration of your Spartan rage. So altogether, it'll help keep that just really high all the time, as you'll start to see with me.
What can I do for you two?
Go ahead and, of course, try to upgrade the equipment that you just equipped. That way you can have at least one spot for an enchantment in there, because, you know, you already had them in the previous gear. You wanna keep having them, since they do provide stat benefits and various extra benefits. On a side note, any gear that you sell that's equipable to Kratos, that's not like an axe pommel or something like that, will be available for buying again, and if I remember correctly, you can buy it at the exact upgrade tier that you sold it at. So if you'd upgraded it fully, you can buy a fully upgraded version of it. If you did medium tier, then so on and so forth, which is useful in the late game if you actually care to get certain gear back. Usually, if I'm going to keep it, I just keep it.
Don't forget to wash your hands.
Atreus. Oh yeah, and of course, do not forget to upgrade your Leviathan axe after that fight with the ogre back before the cutscene with the witch and traveling gear.
Master Atreus, how may I serve? Was there something else?
Alright. Atreus, however, still, I believe, only has access to just a single kind of gear, so unfortunately he doesn't really have a good option on that front yet, other than just, you know, keeping the armor you've already got him with. But that's not a big deal yet either. Okay, so of course after upgrading the Leviathan Axe you have a new tier of abilities available. Go ahead and try and get that ability here I'm grabbing past this axe throw, the one that gives you the explosive burst for precision throws. Now it just makes it do a little more damage and a little larger, which is very useful. Go ahead and try and increase your permafrost that you gain per hit as well. And then there is a very useful, either one of these is very useful, though in this scenario I'm going to be going with this one. I very much enjoy being able to dodge and follow up with certain attacks. Actually no, I'm sorry, not this one. This one's useful. This one's the preferred one. As you'll start to see me use this more and more. This leaping attack is useful, however, out of this one and the heavy leaping attack, I'd say the heavy leaping attack is much more useful. You can actually, there's a lot of times where you can just charge an enemy, push R2, and the explosion can knock them off of a ledge, instantly killing them, which is very useful, obviously. Here soon, if you can hopefully get this ability, this will start to come in handy more and more with projectiles and throwing them back at attackers. It does tons of damage, it's very useful. And now that we're going to be in Spartan Rage a lot more, it's time to really start focusing on trying to upgrade some of the Spartan Rage abilities as well. I don't usually mess with the middle tree as much right away, but certainly this tree here and this one here are very useful.
Look, there's a boat tangled up over there. Boat's free.
Why isn't it tracking? Oh, because it's not a side quest. I get it. Never mind. Okay.
What'd you say?
I said nothing.
Really? Okay.
Did your mother speak of this realm?
Not
If you
much.
want, there's a
Just that since the elves are always
little
fighting,
thing over there you can break.
them
It's
isolated.
kind of hard though, not really that useful, so I'm not really going to try and knock into the water. But you can if you want. Only thing I'd really say is grab this on your way. It will permanently increase one of the stats. I'm not sure which off the top of my head, but it'll tell you which. There's going to be a bunch of these throughout the game eventually. Try and grab them all. Just, you know, permanent stat increases are very useful because,
Again.
well,
I said
obviously.
nothing.
Weird. Could've sworn you said something.
What is it, boy?
Voices. You don't hear that?
I hear nothing.
It's going away now. It was screaming. Lots of voices. Angry. You really didn't hear that?
No.
I felt
Oh, I'm so sorry. My audio is being a little weird. Sorry, give me just a second.
Should we try talking to them?
No,
But maybe they need help.
they do not stop us, so they do not concern us.
But
They
maybe...
do not concern us.
Look at that. That must be the Ring Temple. It's sad the elves can't work things out. Alfheim's such a beautiful place, but war makes it ugly.
You see with the eyes of a child. In war, a soldier sees beauty only in the blood of his enemy. The rest of him is lost, sometimes never to return.
You know about war, don't you?
Wars are fought for two things, survival or advantage. Battles may be won by the better soldier. Enough. Stories are for the boat. We must focus.
Okay. This is not the correct way to go. This is just a little side zone. I'm going to try and quickly get it knocked out so that way I don't have to return here. It's usually not too hard. Just a few tassel worms and a couple Draugr throwing fireballs, but do watch out for them. Usually you can kind of just stand over here and you really won't be hit by them. So you can just kind of focus mostly on the tassel worms. Okay. The tassel worms here being a little weird, so I'm just gonna try and focus on these Draugr for a moment, get them out of here. As usual, you can, of course, juggle very many enemies up into the air still that are not these newer winged enemies. As before, juggling them works great, so go ahead and do it if you want. Don't worry about smashing those yet. You'll be able to once you move through this area.
Ready yourself!
If I remember correctly, there should be, yes, one more. Oh wow, I thought he was gonna hit me. Out of the little side areas here, I would say this one's the better one to go for, especially this little side path in particular, because there is another one of the lovely health upgrades. Normally, of course, all of these hanging things will be marked with a symbol, so that way you know which one's which. However, these ones are a little different, and there's a specific grouping of them that are the ones to go for, as you saw me hit them. Plus, they're the only ones that make sound, so...
me.
Let's see, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, okay, so for this one, a little different. Just try and watch what I do and it'll make sense. I just have to remember how to do it. Oh yeah, so activate it, quickly throw the axe right as it's going, and then you can follow up with that one, and it should, of course, make them disappear. And then once they're gone, you can just do it again and run through. As with the other one, be quick or it will fall, and you won't be able to go through. You don't have to do this. You certainly don't have to do it at this time, because this one is going to spawn 2 heavy Draugr. I believe one's level 3 and the other is going to be level 4. Overall, I don't think it's that big of a deal. You can, of course, just quickly kite them. You know, they're not really a big deal. Especially if you focus on the lower level one first, so as to try to not get them to level up. That will, of course, make it much easier. And of course, you know, have Atreus attack when he can, buy some time, distract him, so on and so forth. You may not want to use runic abilities on them, just because the timing of them can cause you to be hit. And as before, while you may not die instantly anymore from some of these guys, they will still hit very hard. And so, you know, why get hit if you don't really need to? It's just kind of pointless. Oh, he almost got me with that one. Of course, since I have that new pommel, this is the time to really, you want to start focusing on your precision throws, getting that rage burst as often as you can, and the higher your luck stat is, the more frequent it'll be, even though it's a low % chance. Oh, whoopsies. Of course, after killing them, make sure to pick up their loot and go back to this thing. You can get some nice stuff out of it that you will use later in the game. After picking those up, it's a good idea to check what they are. Sometimes they're actually pretty good. Just kind of depends. For example, this one's probably pretty good. Honestly, I might use both of these here. I'm only losing 1 luck, but I get this nice ability with parries, which I do parries a lot, and it's high chance of activation, so that's pretty good. Yeah. Then this one here, since the other one's giving vitality, it's just as good, but then it also has, you know, this nice ability where I might occasionally get some rage just by taking damage, which is, again, you know, great. Helps keep me up on full rage meter. Since I am using the Hell's Touch runic attack, it is probably a good idea to finally go ahead and upgrade that. The first upgrade's not really super useful, but the last upgrade is extremely useful because it makes the attack animation cancel quicker after doing it. so you can respond to threats much more quickly. In the late game, that's more useful when you're fighting things such as the Valkyries and other various bosses. That way you can quickly, you know, do your runic attack and not have to worry about being hit by the boss's attack, or you can still follow up with a parry or some other various thing.
Let's hang on to it.
Now, there is a nice item in this chest, depending on what your playstyle is. It would make it so you can dodge at the very last second, and you'll get something called a realm shift, which is basically just slows time for you for a moment. You know, and if you're really proficient at doing last second dodges, sure, that's great. It's not really my style though, as I'm sure those of you watching can tell. So, you know, I don't really worry about it. I'm not really going to be using it, but I will grab it because it's nice just to have it. If you're doing New Game Plus, I would highly advise grabbing it. Eventually you can upgrade it, eventually turn it into an enchantment that you can just put on your armor, which will, of course, activate much more frequently when it's on your armor rather than being a talisman.
What else were you going to tell me about war?
Wars are won by those who are willing to sacrifice everything to ensure victory.
Technically, that little spot there I just passed is where you're supposed to go first. You don't have to go there first. You can actually go right by it, go over to this other dock I'm going to be going to here eventually, and then go back to it. But traditionally, it's the one you'd go to first. Now, okay, there's a heavy over there behind you. Try to not aggro him right away unless you're gonna fight him first and then go for the nightmares, of course. Oh no. Oh gosh, that was bad. This spot you can return to later. There'll be another one of those little realm tears you can open up to deal with. Be careful about switching talismans just to use their various abilities, like, you know, healing or getting some more rage and such. While they're on cooldown, you cannot change back. So the stats, various stats they're upgrading and passive abilities they provide obviously are going to be of no benefit. Oh no, there we go. Oh, wait, I believe there is... Yes. There's just a little thing hanging up here you can break. Get some more money. You know, why not? This way, you don't have to go down it yet. It's just another one of those doors you can't pass to get access shows some of the Valkyries that are later in the game. The one here on Alfheim is a little difficult, especially on this difficulty, of course. Where's that last one at? Oh, there he is. If you want this chest, you have to pass here first, then jump across, and then break all of these. Using a heavy throw can be more beneficial for this, depending on how you do things. But usually overall just, you know, stick with your light throw and it will be fine. However, I keep getting some issues there, as you saw. As before, another little hanging thing, easy to miss, just more money, not a big deal. Oh, it's still not. Oh, it's not quite activated. Never mind. Should flash here in a second. Make a little ding. Yeah. If you are playing on an easier difficulty, not God of War, I would say go ahead and use this runic attack, heavy runic attack I just picked up. It's very, very strong, very damaging, very, very funny in my opinion. Especially once you upgrade it fully, you can basically just be slamming the axe down over and over and over and over and over again. It's very, very funny, very powerful. Not as useful on this difficulty just due to the time constraints and the limited amount of stunning it does. It's just not super great in that regard.
Sindri said Mother was a warrior. Was she in a war too?
Of a sort. Her family was decimated by hostile rivals, and she alone survived. She walked the warrior's path, but her war was to live on.
The blue door. That's gotta be the entrance. Let's go.
Careful, boy.
What are they doing? The bridge is gone. They covered the crystal with that stuff. Why?
To prevent reinforcements.
Right here, I believe, if you quickly pop this guy up into the air, you can knock them off. Despite the fact they have wings, you can, of course, just, you know, throw them off the ledge, which is kind of weird, but, you know, not the worst. Try not to do what I just did there and get absolutely destroyed. I'm probably gonna die though, so not really a big deal. If you can, you know, try to not die as much as I do. I know that that's hard though on this difficulty, of course, because, you know, God of War. You can distract these guys with axe throws to have Atreus trip them up. Not always useful, but, you know, you can still do it if you really want. And sometimes you can get nice axe throws that will, of course, trip them up as well, just because they happen to be not focusing on you properly, or they're just caught in the wrong timing of a movement. But, you know, again, not the worst thing to have happen. Now I probably should have saved that here for just a moment, since I'm about to have to fight more, but I think I'm just gonna do the cheap thing, which is to just wait a moment, wait till my talisman recharges, use that at least once before this next fight starts. Give me the best chance possible, of course. Of course, if I do die, it's not going to be the end of the world. At least I'll come back. I'll have a fuller health bar. But
Okay, so that did something. I think.
Be ready.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I couldn't remember if there was multiple enemies here or not. There are, as usual. Oh, I didn't get hit by that. Nice. Usually if you'll see me fighting one enemy, I'm going to try to just do a lot of axe throws, of course, just because that is what's giving me more rage burst with precision attacks. So, even though I know usually just, if you just quickly run up to them, do regular axe attacks, that is going to do a lot more damage overall in most cases.
Wait, combined together like that, they kind of look like a room. It doesn't make sense.
Come, back to the boat.
Also, if you're on a different difficulty, or even this one, another good strategy is to use the Talisman of Unbound Potential. Using it will instantly recharge your runic attacks that are on cooldown. So, you know, if you're gonna do that, try and have a lot of runic damage.
Strength to wield such a weapon and the wisdom to use it for good. We will continue another time.
Father, the pillars and ring form an elvish rune.
What does it ask?
Without me or within me, death is sure. Yet within you, I am life most pure. Yep, it's water, all right.
Boy,
It was the voices again, but different voices, less angry. They were asking for help.
we are here for the light. I do not care who they are, nor what they want.
You never cared about anything.
You have something to say?
No. Luger. What's happening? Whoa! Look what we found!
Excuse me.
Father,
Yes.
the voices I heard, it was hard to make out. But way in the back, I'm pretty sure I heard Mother.
That is not possible.
But I know what I heard.
Atreus, enough.
He looks different. Look at those horns.
Behind me, boy.
Obviously, you're gonna have to fight that guy eventually. He's a real pain in the butt, in my opinion. So annoying fight, really. Gosh dang it. Okay. Luckily, this is what we saved the rage bar for. Just quickly wail on him, of course. Heal back some health because it's your rage bar. If you can, try and knock some people off the ledge like that. It'll help out immensely. Try not to go too far the way I just did. It will spawn the next fight. So now I'm going to have to deal with that too, which is just going to make this whole thing a lot longer than I need it to be. Honestly, I'm probably going to die here. Stay away from the heavy unit for a bit, you know. It's a heavy unit, you know. Once he's by himself, he'll be easy enough to kite, defeat without too much trouble, really, compared to just the overwhelming amount of these quick flying guys. Oh gosh dang it, okay, well that's not too bad, that's fine. Oh, don't worry. I will. I'm a little shocked I managed to survive through that whole fight, considering how badly I started it off.
Stay away from those cages.
Wonder why they're locked up.
Oh my word. Okay, there we go. Feel free, of course, to grab all of the health stones in this area. If you happen to die when you come back later here in the game, they'll all be back for you to use, so makes it nice and easy.
Be ready.
What?
Be ready.
Hope that was worth it.
This is a useful runic skill overall. However, again, more of a personal preference kind of thing. You know, if you like it, you use it. I'm not a fan of it, so I'm not gonna. Now, I think, I'm not sure, I think this next chest here, this Nordic chest or whatever it is, Nornir chest, sorry, pretty sure it's one that will upgrade your rage meter, assuming you've gotten the other two, of course. But I could be wrong on that. as well.
Okay. Tricky. Very tricky.
To open it though isn't really too hard. You just kind of have to keep, you know, freezing this thing and then
Get us to the temple?
We will find out.
doing, you know, undoing it after you break them. Not too difficult. It's kind of more of a hassle with how much you have to repeat doing it. No, I was wrong. It's an apple. So that means I think the next one is the rage meter that I'm thinking of. The first rage meter increase is a pretty nice, important one. It's the largest one. As with the first health increase is by far the largest one. The ones after are really nowhere near as useful. But, you know, still, go get them, of course. It's not like they're unhelpful by any means.
You were wrong back there.
Oh,
I know Mother's voice better than anyone. It was her.
she is gone, boy. Speak no more of this.
Fine.
There's going to be 3 of these little runes that you just saw me get. One of them, they do make you, you know, take less damage from the Dark Elves. I don't really use these, you know, mostly because I prefer to try to not take any damage at all. But if you want to use them, go ahead, feel free. This next part you'll just have infinite Spartan Rage for, just till whenever a certain point hits of killing enemies, you will just have a different thing to do, but you'll still kind of be in Spartan Rage a little bit, I think. Yes, here we go.
Hold on, boy! Fight! Run, boy!
Too bad. Too bad he couldn't just die right then and there. So be careful about some of these guys. They have different attacks that they do. Don't get hit by it. Similar to those projectiles that you can get hit with, they will blind you just as those do. Unless, of course, you can manage to perfectly parry it like that.
Thanks. Hey, you sure the witch is okay? I'd hate to think she died helping us.
She knew what she was doing.
Okay. Ugh, more of it.
If we cut enough away, the bridge above us should reappear.
Right.
Expect resistance.
Right.
As before, this next little fight adds a new kind of enemy, so just be ready to deal with him. Not too bad, really. Let's see here. Oh, what? Okay, well, that was unfortunate. Oh my god, wow. Okay, we're just gonna restart this one. I'm shocked that the game's actually letting me take such little damage here, but yeah, there we go. That's a little more expected. Cool. Let's try that again. So what I had been trying to do there is quickly kite those two near the ledge right off the bat, and then use this heavy runic slam to stun them, and then quickly use a heavy attack, knock them off the ledge. However, obviously that did not work at all, but let's try and see if we can actually do that the way I wanted to this time. There we go. That's kind of what I was trying to do. Oh no. Oh my gosh, he's just gonna stay flying, isn't he? Okay, well, oh, no, there he goes. Okay, so now it spawns a few more, and then be careful not to hit this pile of rocks here. That's the major boss of this spot. Once you hit him, he's gonna be aggroed, and it's gonna make this next part much faster since he doesn't immediately do so. About halfway through killing him, I believe there is 2 more guys that will spawn. However, if you can time it right, you can actually have him dead before they do so. I was really hoping this guy would actually like move closer to me, so that way I don't have to accidentally hit the rock pile with my axe, but that just may not be possible. Oh no, here we go. If I just do this, yeah, we're good. Then here comes the pile of rocks. So, these guys are going to be immune to any damage, except for this little core in their middle, so they will open up. If you want, you can cheese them, just like I am on this guy, pretty obviously. Best way to get a lot of damage, though, is to quickly try and pull off a few attacks, and then still do the R3 option. After a time, the R3 option disappears, so you won't be able to do it for long, but usually, you know, 2 or 3 attacks is a safe timing to then go for that option. You want to be careful with these that spawn. You can pick them up, throw them back at him whether he's open or not. It will do a bunch of damage and open up his stun meter. However, you know, they will blow up on their own after time. So if you're not careful, they can hit you, which is obviously something you want to avoid if at all possible. Oh god, oh god, okay. I am shocked that that worked in my favor somehow. Okay, that guy's down on the ground. That's where we want him to be for this last little moment here, where we can quickly kill this guy, and now deal with him. Eventually you'll be able to make a nice armor set out of them. I wouldn't say make the full thing, but if you can make at least one piece of it, the buff's pretty good. Help you take a lot less elemental, poison, various status effect type of damages, and you'll recover a little sooner from them. Just overall very useful. Once again, if you're playing on an easier difficulty, this runic attack in this chest is very useful. On this difficulty, it's not so useful just because of the amount of time that it takes to cast, and just, you know, you can usually get caught pretty easily and get hit, which is something you don't want to do.
That did it! You brought the main bridge back.
We must find a way up.
Guess the light makes more than bridges. Maybe this will spit us out on top.
You know, Atreus, you just might be right.
Look! The blue door! We made it!
Okay, so this next Nornir chest is the one that's going to upgrade your rage bar. Very helpful if you've been grabbing the other two. This first rage increase is pretty significant, but the others are not really.
These doors do not open.
Hello? I don't get it. I even have a door. Hello?
Come, we will find another way in. More of those bells.
A Nornir chest must be nearby.
Oh, I'm actually shocked I got that. Holy cow. Okay. So, some of these bells are going to ring for longer times than others. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I may not get this one. Yeah, definitely not. Oh! Wait. What? Okay. Yeah, never mind. Almost. Let's do that again. Ooh, excuse me.
Sindri, could you take a look at this?
Honestly, I don't have much else going on right now. That should tide you over. Come back anytime.
Oh wait, crap.
So, what brings you around, friends? And what do you have your eye on?
Okay, not quite yet.
I suppose you prefer my brother's work?
This
You're
way.
wrong.
Hey, how did Sindri get ahead of it?
He and the blue one do seem to travel quickly.
Huh. We're inside. Of course.
So that guy, you're gonna want to watch out for them. You just saw him summon in two dudes. That's what they do. It's a very frustrating thing for them to do, but if you can carefully get rid of him very quickly, it will stop him from summoning more reinforcements. I cannot stress enough how quickly you want to try and get him gone. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
That was good. Right?
You still have much to learn.
This next part's gonna have a lot of nightmares. Basically, they're all just gonna try and bum rush you over and over again. And then there's gonna also be a couple just generic enemies spawn in near the back and one directly behind you. However, you can of course still dodge them. I would suggest doing so. Oh gosh. I thought they were all gone. Oopsies. Well, that's what I get. Oh, there's still one more. Okay, Jesus Christ. And there's more. Oh my god. My word. Can we just be done with the nightmares for a moment? You're not wrong.
I bet it was beautiful here before the Dark Elves destroyed everything.
Oh right, I don't have that attack yet. Whoopsies.
Whoa! Now that's impressive.
Can you read it?
From darkness, keep safe the light. Didn't do a very good job, did they?
A lot of these chests I'm getting, you really don't have to get. They just have this runic war belt, or not war belt, the runic armor set. However, of course, I feel like the set I'm using, of course, is better. Again, it is pretty good though. You know, if you're using a lot of runic attacks all the time and you're using the Talisman of Unbound Potential, that could actually be a pretty good alternative to this one. Just because it'll increase all your runic damage and you'll be using runic attacks all the time. This next spot I'm almost certainly gonna die in, just because there's gonna be a couple of those enemies who spawn other enemies, and there's just gonna be a lot of dark elves along with him. Most likely I'll die.
They've covered it up with that stuff. How would they do that? Look, another light up. What's he doing? Oh no! Why are they killing him? He didn't do anything.
Do not assume. You are seeing the end of a war, boy. You do not know what led to this moment.
But he didn't even defend himself.
That was his choice. We make ours.
Okay. So this guy here at the back is the summoner. Quickly, of course, deal with him. He's a real pain in the butt. He's the guy you really want to see out of here, like that. Other than that, it's not the worst fight in the world, but it still can be a pain, of course, as with any fight in the game. Oh, what? Okay, really? Oh, no. Come on, kick him off. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go.
What now?
The light is near. Look for a way inside.
Never mind. I thought there was a hanging thingy over here. I guess not. I was a little shocked to see that that guy just spawned in, but due to the placement of the other guy, he just kind of instantly fell off and died. It's a little strange, but hey, made the fight easier, so not complaining, certainly. What? There we go.
That did it! Look! More light bridges!
Follow me.
As before, here's another little spot where there's just gonna be a lot of nightmares, and they're basically just gonna all bum rush you. Pretty sure there's only like 5 or so with this one, but I could be wrong. Okay, glad that worked out. And as before, there's gonna be a guy who spawns in who is a summoner. Quickly deal with him. You know, try to get him gone before you deal with anyone else, just because that guy is going to be the biggest pain in the ass if you let him live. But yeah. What the? Oh! Okay. Oh no, what's happening? I can't see. That's unfortunate. Especially since I'm pretty sure that was the end of the fight, and so, essentially I just wasted that little revival stone there, but it's not gonna matter because I'll be able to get back to the merchant before I have any real troubling fights at this point.
restoring all the pathways?
Excuse me. This spot you do have to do in a certain order. The spots that you need to throw the axe at are going to be blocked partially by some of these other thingies here. So until you do the correct ones, you won't be able to go to the next ones.
Quiet.
Okay. I think I just heard my dog barking. No, okay. We're good.
Did you hear that?
Stay alert and by my side.
Hey, when we make it to the light, how do you think we get it into the Bifrost?
The witch said to step into it
She did?
when she was ripped away from this realm.
Oh, how'd I miss that?
You were more concerned with her safety than our goal. Quiet. I have him. Your knife boy.
Brutal.
That was close.
Do not stray from me, boy.
You don't gotta tell me.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm just yawning up a storm.
Another one!
Stay back. We have some time here like gold, but we must be careful. Understand?
Now, if you do have, you know, that easier mode that you're playing, if you're using that spinning whirlwind runic attack and that
We need to move quickly.
just repeated slam attack with the axe, this is a fun time to get to use them, especially if you have the Talisman of Unbound Potential, so that you can just use them again after you've done them. This part's not really a big concern fight-wise. It's basically just, you know, hit a few and just keep moving forward the whole time, and they won't spawn behind you.
Here they come.
So
Behind me and protect
don't worry too much
Yes, sir!
on that front.
Keep shooting, boy. I will clear our path. Shorten the time between your volleys. There are many targets. You will not miss. A narrow path negates superior numbers. Stay focused.
Alright, so yeah, really not too hard even on this difficulty, just because if there's, you know, there's a ton, but it's not really meant to be a super hard fight. Jesus.
Are you injured?
I'm fine. Wow. It's beautiful. The light.
Oh my
So
god.
slow. Wait. It's singing. I hear her. I told you I heard her. Do you think she's in there? Ah! Ah! Oh, that really hurt. I felt like my hand was on fire.
Stay here.
But I want
Stay
to...
here. We use it as a last resort.
You're giving me your axe?
I'm letting you hold my axe. It's not a gift.
Still.
What is this? Faye?
You have to come back. You left me here alone.
Atreus?
Alone with him. He always leaves. He's never here. Doesn't want me, he never will.
Avery, what are you doing? Come over here.
I don't know him, he doesn't know me. Doesn't seem to want to. I'm strong. I'm smart. I'm not what he thinks I am. I know better. He doesn't talk to me. Doesn't teach me. It should have been him. You hear me? Him, not you. Except... I don't mean that. You know I love him. I just wish he was better. I know he can. So if he tries, I'll try. But if he doesn't, please come back. I know you're out there somewhere.
Wait! Come back! No! No! What have you done? Why did you do that?
I saved you! You were trapped in there! I waited and I waited for you wouldn't come out! So I pulled you out!
Boy! I was gone only... moments.
No! You've been gone a long, long time! I didn't know what to do! You left me here! Again! Why don't you care?
That's impossible.
We should go before they come back. I hope we got what we needed.
Yes.
Look, there's our exit. But there's no light to make a bridge. We're trapped. And the witch's bowstring is useless.
Roy, your bow. Hold it out. On my mark, loose your arrow into the stone.
Oh, whoops, you actually have to aim it. Whoopsies.
We can now make our way back. Come.
That stairway's blocked. There's a light crystal ahead. Just laying. Maybe it'll help us get out of this stupid place.
If you run off at either that little side spot, this side spot will save you some time, because if you have to jump off these, you still have to push circle. It takes just a little longer. Not a big deal though, obviously. Really only saves like a couple seconds. Whew. I don't think I can trigger that one yet. Yeah, that's right. I believe there's just gonna be a couple nightmares here. A couple guys. Not a super challenging fight by any means. So, oh, there they are. I was starting to wonder where all the other nightmares were. It's just like, there we go. Yeah. Just a few nightmares. Not really a big crazy fight by any means. Oh, come on. Jesus. My word. Okay. Just die already.
Let us make our way back up.
Alright. Oh, right. Forgot about that. Oopsies. Summoner. Deal with the summoner. obviously try not to get hit, you know. Or if you're blinded, it's going to be really hard to see enemies, and at this earlier part, the blinding lasts a very long time. However, unlike before, I now have my full rage bar, so, I mean, if I really need it, this fight's going to be much easier. Plus, with having a lot more health, again, easier. Oh, where'd he go? I'm not sure where the other one went, but that's not a big deal. Oh, there he is. Okay, we can see again. Alright. Okay. Where? There. Okay, kind of thought that, you know, since I rolled I would be fine on that one, but I guess not. Gotta try and figure out where this last guy's at here. Okay. If you are trying to learn to juggle these guys in the air, probably the best way to do it is to make sure you save some of Atreus' arrows. If you hit them right when they like dash back or whatever, try and get out of your juggling, the arrow will re-put them back into the juggling, you know, so just kind of helps out overall.
Where are you taking that?
Huh? Oh, whoopsie.
Boy,
Here, read that, boy, and then I'm gonna make it disappear before you can even finish. Oh yeah, interesting, yeah. Oh, I bet. Yeah, can you read quick? It's gone now.
You gonna carry that everywhere?
I just might.
Oh look, the blue door that's not open.
And a sand bowl.
How do you expect me to reach it?
Well, that's easy, Atreus. You just have to do it.
Maybe instead of looting a sacred temple, we could just get out of here?
If I want your opinion, boy, I will ask for it.
Oh no. Try not to fall off of there when you do that. You can fall off. If you do so, obviously you're not gonna have the time to do it, and you'll have to try again.
can reach the bowl now.
Uh-huh.
What does this mean?
See.
Remember the shape.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead.
Greatest man or tallest tree begins as any more than me. Yeah, and see.
Seed.
Stupid man. So, it's a door after all.
Alright, just make sure to stop by here at the merchant again if you need
You boys look like
a new
you're gearing up for
resurrection
quite the
stone.
journey. Good. Also, remember to breathe. What can I do for you?
I think that's it for now. The light arrows do
Abandoned temple in
a lot of stun damage.
Does this...
Yes,
Neat.
you're very well. I'd advise you.
Here, boy. Another one.
So you can use them to
Her name's Crow.
just get a lot of damage out. You know, a lot of stun damage specifically to
Boy.
auto kill things. There's gonna be a time in the game where using the light arrows is very important to do to help make everything easier. Of course.
He will be back.
We really gotta go back down here again?
Do you see any other way?
No.
Then,
Well, we could swim around the sides, Kratos. What are you talking about? We could just walk along this nice little ledge here, you know, it'd be fine. Just don't slip and fall. Shocked that that door's not open. Okay.
Great. Now I can barely see.
there's light. Make do.
If I remember correctly, there's gonna be a lovely fight here with two revenants. And by lovely, I definitely do not mean lovely, because they're annoying, obviously. You can try to knock one off. It doesn't work out very well, of course, but you can try. If you can get them up into the air, you could of course knock them off the edge. It's just they don't like to go up into the air at this point in the game.
Adapt.
Oh, right. This one. What? No, okay. Well, I was kind of hoping to hit the crystal there. If you do, you will be able to put out a lot of stun damage and a big old AoE, pop off a bunch of stuns really easily. It's a very viable strategy, pretty much just whenever, honestly, but... Okay. That was a little strange.
Plan on carrying the crystal everywhere like the last one?
If need be.
There's a, the last piece of the runic set armor you can go get if you want. I'm not going to, just because I don't really care to have it right now, and I'm not using it, so I don't really need it. There's this lovely heavy unit that spawns over here. Again, you can just set the crystal down, pop off a lot of arrows to it, pop off some damage on him, keep him stunned, and you can quickly get his stun meter to full, which if you do, best way to deal with them is once he grabs them, just go to a ledge, throw them off. Preferably, you won't accidentally throw them the direction I almost did, because then he could have landed on solid ground, which is not what we want.
Boy, shoot.
I know how it works.
So, up ahead here, we're about to finally face our favorite person who's been following us all over this realm of Alfheim. And as I said, of course, since I did die,
We can use the
there
same
are
sample
some
that
lovely
brought us down
new
before.
spawns of the health crystals, health stones, whatever. Which is great because I very well might need them. Before you activate the sand bowl, which starts the fight, just quickly pop over to these little rooms. Just make sure there's no enemies. I cannot honestly remember if there is supposed to be or not, but it looks like not, which is good. Yeah, lovely. Alright. So of course at this point, once you activate this sand bowl, it's gonna start the fight. Just spam circle right after you activate the sand bowl. Oh, whoopsies. Okay. Well, that's really unfortunate. Now this is the time when that dash forward attacks can come in very handy if you did get it. As you see, I will start to do it quite a bit. And usually if he disappears behind you, or well, disappears from in front of you, it's to appear behind you. This can be a pretty long fight overall, but just, you know, try and, as usual, play safe, play steady, and you will be fine eventually. It just takes a while. about halfway. Some of his attacks are going to change slightly, so be ready for that. I will go over it at the time, though. While it is useful to parry him, don't do it too much if you can avoid it. He's just gonna get this little thing where he dashes back and sets the things on the ground, which, you know, they do a lot of damage, big AoE, and they blind you, so try to avoid them. Also, try to be better than I am about firing your arrows, and by that I mean, especially with bosses, you can kind of just keep a constant, like, barrage going, which will just help immensely with winning the fight, obviously. Oh, that was weird. I didn't dodge backwards properly for some reason. You can use your rage bar on him. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and do it right away just because, you know, it's beginning of the fight, best time to use it. However, you know, he is going to dodge it a lot. You're going to not really get a ton of hits with it. Don't worry about that. That's normal, especially with a boss of this kind. Usually with that, if you just dodge backwards, you'll basically be fine, as long as you're keeping aware of what's around you, and it's not like a wall or something. Sometimes he will shoot ahead of like where you're about to go, so you know, just be careful with that. And as usual, don't really worry about Atreus too much. He'll fine. He'll be fine. He's gonna live. Now that he's at this halfway point, you see he's going to do that attack twice. He doesn't always do it twice, but he will very frequently do it twice. Just try to watch for it. Try to make sure that if he does, that you're ready to dodge again. Don't start your attack, of course, until he does so. Apparently I did not dodge correctly on that one. Gosh dang it, dog, move! Move, dog! Oh my god. Almost just died there from my animal. Oh gosh. Woo, that was close. He is going to be having a new attack soon. That's a very frustrating attack. Very hard to dodge. And it does a lot of damage. It's one of the major ones that he performs. Of course, near this very end of the fight. I think it's on his last 2 bars is when he starts finally doing it. This, just try to double dodge backwards and you should be fine. Not always though. Sometimes it, you know, you either do it just a hair too early, hair too late. You can still be hit. It's not an attack you really want to be hit by, of course, because it's gonna, as before, do a lot of damage, and it's also gonna set up that that blinding effect that he does, which is just, you know, brutal. So. Oh, come on. Just let me heal. Thank you. Sometimes, of course, as you see, he will just do it over and over again, which is really not cool, but you can mostly avoid it. And if you can get him this low, you can probably be safe in just going into rage mode, you know, punch him a lot, take him out, and call it good. This is like the weirdest angle I've ever had on the kill though, I think, but...
No, that can't be.
What did it say?
That we made a grave mistake.
Killing him, of course, gets you your first runic summon for Atreus, which is his, similar to the runic attacks that Kratos does. Atreus kind of gets his own, so you can just start finally getting these. They're not super useful yet. There's a specific one that's one of my favorites I'm going to be trying to get as soon as I can, but again, not super important right away. Okay. Now, as I was saying before as well, the Hell's Touch runic attack, try and get it up to level 3. The third level is far better than the second level, just because you can get like a quick cancel out animation, so that way you can quickly be back on the attack with enemies.
Did we help the wrong side? Let me guess. You're gonna be smug and say you told me we shouldn't get involved.
That is enough. Do you remember the answer?
Yeah.
Boy, read this. Boy, what's that?
Only time you want to talk to me is when you need
Do you want to tell me something?
I said, the only time you care to talk to me is when you need me to translate for you. If Mom was
If
here...
your mother was still alive, we would not be here at all. Atreus.
Forget it.
Fine.
So? Was she my life?
Who?
You know.
Oh. She was not there.
Not like you would even care if she was.
Mind your tongue, boy! Until our journey is over, one of us must remain focused. Do not mistake my silence for lack of grief. Mourn how you wish. Leave me to my own.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
No. Why would you? Do not know my ways. I know it has not been easy. In the
Oh
light,
my word.
I felt only moments pass. If that is of some comfort to you.
That's good to know. Really? So, should we go back to Midgard? Face the Black Breath? Or do you think there's more to see in this realm?
That ore is just tiny in
So,
Kratos'
Brok
hands.
and Sindri made Mom the axe just to help her survive?
She had the strength to wield such a weapon, and the wisdom to use it for good. She found purpose in protecting the weak.
So, she'd help out the elves?
No.
You're back. I see you've been busy.
How observant.
I am known for my attention to detail.
Hey, Sindri, we found something.
Armor piece? Oh, I hope it's a new armor piece.
All those voices in my head. Back when we met Brok, Senna was warning about some of the magic rituals. That's why she
She told you.
Well, I needed his village was healed. She was afraid.
It happens again. You tell me. Understand?
What now?
We have the light. To Midgard.
Okay, and while this little cutscene plays out and they travel to Midgard, I'm gonna just disappear for just a second, but I'll be right back. I need to take care of something really quickly.
Crazy to think that all the realms exist in the same space, one on top of the other. It's like this room lets us travel without moving.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Brok! We just came back from another realm. And we met your brother. Wait, not that one.
Did you let that seat saw put hand to your blade? Hmm? You do know he lost his talent. Just up and left him one day. Tried taking me down with him. Did he botch up on her girl?
Quite the opposite.
Yeah, leaving a blind pig farts up a truffle now and again. But you know what really counts? Consistency. And I got that coming out of all of my parts.
What did you do?
It's better.
He's not wrong.
Now when you're done gawking, I got a favor.
What is it, dwarf? If it is...
All right.
Okay.
We found something interesting.
So,
Do you remember the way back to the Black Breath?
Of course.
at this point, once
We need
again,
to walk across the bridge to Vanaheim Town.
there's gonna be a lot of side quests available.
Your choice.
You can really do either. However, I'm just going to be progressing forward once again.
We rode past that statue of Thor earlier, when we left the witch's hut.
And what direction is that?
It's mid-morning. So that's south. Southwest?
However, of course, now that you're back from Alfheim, once again, enemies are going to be stronger. Of course, big shocker, you know.
That was good, right?
You did well.
All right. Now, see, I still can't access that. Yeah, so I'm just gonna be continuing. At this time, if you were wanting to go and do the side quests, doing at least Brock and Sindri's is very useful. As far as, you know, get a lot of XP, get a lot of various items that are pretty darn useful. I would advise it, personally. I just am not doing it myself. Normally, this is about the time I would be ending the stream. However, today, I'm gonna be having it going just another hour longer. Excuse me.
Hey, Sinjin, check this out.
My, we're excited to spend some Hacksilver, aren't we? Ah, offerings to Tyr. These are quite rare, you know. Well, you know Odin, not the biggest fan of Tyr. I thought he destroyed all of these. I'm feeling creative today.
Okay. Okay, alright. Time to, of course, make new, better armor.
I think that's a keeper. He's tight. Who knew? And for you, and we're back to you.
Okay, so Atreus now has access to these. Honestly, now that I'm seeing that, I'm thinking I might go back do some of those side quests just to try to get a piece of solid sort of Svartalfheim steel, just so I can actually get one of these, preferably this one, this first one here.
What did we miss? How about you, young one? I'm sure that'll come in handy. Till Whoa. You...
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Is that...
Yes.
Okay, so here eventually it's gonna be in your best interest to try to either create the gauntlets here or this waist armor here to keep for quite a long time in the game, just because of this elemental shielding effect. It's very useful, just for obvious reasons.
Poor Fafnir. There's a fine line between ambition and greed, you know.
Okay. Yeah, now that I'm actually thinking about this, I am not going to be progressing the main story at this point. I really should be going to do that side quest, both for Brok and Sindri. There's a lot of really good stuff out of it that's going to be able to make the gameplay, once again, just significantly easier.
Atreus, here.
Yes, Father.
Boy, over here.
Oh, and I also need to get the last Muspelheim cipher piece, which, you know, going there can also significantly help out gameplay if you can at least do enough to get one armor piece, or either that or one of the like axe pommels or talismans or something, just to get at least one. They're all pretty powerful. Here, now that you have these, there is a fight that you can pull up here. Don't do it. I'm not going to do it. If I remember correctly, there's a level 7 Revenant and a level 8 Revenant, which, you know, really try not to fight them until you're like level 6 or 7 yourself. It's not going to be a fun time. Now eventually there's going to be a treasure map and this is going to be the spot where you go, like right here. This little mound is what it is. But that's a ways away still, so don't worry too much about it. Okay, now this guy is pretty annoying. He's a heavy unit that heals if he wants. He also has a lot of these big triple slam attacks that he does. He can block hits. He has just a lot of really annoying stuff that he can do. Eventually, these kind of units will add in another annoying attack where they will shoot like a wave of ice at you, but those ones are also quite a ways away.
Never thought I'd see a scrap like that again. What do you want?
You died.
Indeed. Have you only the
Alright.
useless?
Well, we can't expect them all to know something useful.
And if I remember correctly, this chest up here has the last Muspelheim cipher. What? That was a little weird.
Hey, this does more than decipher those Muspelheim runes. It also contains the travel rune. Should we go visit the fire realm?
We should. Which is actually what I'm going to be doing now.
Maybe the next one will have more information.
Keep your expectations low, boy. Spirits are rarely useful.
How do they even exist?
When you sever a man from his life, it is not always a clean cut.
So you've met other spirits?
Yes, many.
What were they like?
Annoying.
I need that alchemist for something I'm stewing up.
Wow. It's hot here. But is that snow?
Ash. It only falls like that for great fires.
Well, this is supposed to be the greatest fire of all. isn't it? Muspelheim, the ancient realm of flame.
Did your mother speak of it?
Not a whole lot. I mean, there's not many stories that take place in fire. Except among the fire giants, I guess. But I don't think they talk to others much. And no one's seen one in forever.
Look here. Another.
This one's called Surtur. Must be a fire giant. Makes a flaming sword. He fights Thor and Odin. Is that the past?
Come, boy.
Okay. So, if I remember correctly,
Listen,
probably only gonna be able to do the first thing here, and that's it.
it's coming from up there.
I'm pretty sure the second one is a fight involving killing a lot of enemies all at the same time, which at the current time is unlikely to work out in my favor.
The voice! It's just around this corner. Oh. It's a great big sword. It wants to know if we're ready for training?
However, this first one should be possible
Yes, sir.
so far.
Driver, on your right!
Just, you know, kill enemies, do it quick, don't suck too much. Oh, hello there. If I remember correctly, this one's pretty much just, you know, if you can kill them all within about 1 minute, you'll be fine, and you'll be able to keep up with all of the waves with no real issues. But again, I could be wrong, it's been a while, so we'll see. Oh gosh, oh jeez. Trying to do what I did there with that's not a good thing to do. Yeah. Pay attention to your surroundings, of course, like I did not. So, this one, I would say, try and get one kited away towards Atreus. He can obviously deal with one, you know, all by himself without too much issue, and then in doing so, that will give Kratos the chance to be able to really focus on one pretty easily as well. Obviously, I did not do such a hot job with that and the parries, but that's okay, because it just puts you right back and you can do it again.
The gate's closed.
Prepare yourself, boy.
Yes, sir. We're driving on the right.
Oh. What? Yeah. So 3, about 45 more minutes. Oh, okay. That should be fine. No, it should be fine. I don't see why it would be a problem. Oh my god, what? Okay. Guess I didn't pair.
a song that is simultaneously the weirdest thing I've ever heard, but also the funniest and greatest. I'm gonna
Okay.
pull up the lyrics real quick.
The gate's closed.
Prepare yourself, boy.
Yes, sir.
He starts going, it's put your arms out. Put out your arms and shake your head. Roll back your eyes, just like you did. On one hand hip, other hand hip. Take 2 steps and triple front. Take off your legs, but keep your pants on. Then take off your head and throw it at your mom. Now let your lighter do a push-up, and out of your neck go cock like a duck. Lie on the ground and just stay put and wait till a human steps on your personal foot. Here comes the chorus, then I'll show you soon how to do the rest of the dance. But he's like saying like da 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 da, and it's like with this like super upbeat like EDM sort of thing. It's great.
That's pretty weird.
It's fucking great.
Oh my word.
I'm also
He's
going to run over any of the plastic shit I don't see because they're so popular.
well, yeah, that's what happens when our neighbors throw shit in our yard.
Halloween stuff.
Oh.
Still Halloween stuff out there underneath my leaves.
Oh.
I got some most of the shit, but I don't think it'll pick up. Or it will, and I'm wrong.
The gate's closed.
Prepare yourself, boy.
Yes, sir. Sure a lot of trouble around here.
No, do the ruling attack. Thank you. What? Die! Oh my god. It's like getting worse every time. Okay, yeah. This attack is now going to be very useful. Go ahead and get it if you can, along with this.
Behind you, more enemies.
What? Oh, he went for a trace. Weird. Not a big deal though. Just under the trees. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, no, like under the trees that you're not ever gonna walk in.
like the spot with the
Oh. No, she doesn't poop there. Like under the side trees, along the fence that you don't go under.
literally under the
Yeah. Yes. Not anywhere that you're gonna end up walking. No, that's okay. Now this is the part that if you have Spartan Rage, it's a great time to go ahead and use it. You can take out pretty much all the last of these enemies just using these heavy slams and other various hits in Spartan Rage, since it's so overpowered. Cool beans. Alright, And
Crazy. And
if I remember correctly, at this point, at this early in the game, it's gonna be impossible to do this next trial unless you somehow get just ridiculously lucky. About 99% sure, but I'm gonna start it anyways just to see which one it is, just to make sure it's the one I'm thinking of. Yes, this one is the one that you cannot do right now. You could get to the very last one, but the last one has 6 enemies. It's 4 wolves and 2 tassel worms all at once, and it's just very difficult to beat all of them all at the same time, because these guys all have to be dead at the same time. Otherwise, it'll just respawn them, and that's gonna make it, you know, literally impossible to win. However, if you just wait until you're like level 6 or so, maybe even 5, if you've got the right gear, you can easily take them all out.
Are you comfortable if I leave the garage open while I'm doing this?
Hopefully with that chest though, and then actually the trial, you should have more than enough smoldering embers and crests of flame to at least get something, which is going to be very useful once again. Buy something though, I do mean not armor. The armors are going to be just a little too expensive overall, but by something I mean either this Surtur's Grip of Flame or the Sinmara Cinder Talisman if you have the money. I know for me, I would prefer to get just the pommel, since it's adding, you know, strength and runic attack, you know, and then it's got that lovely perk ability, and then, you know, I've already got a good way to gain rage still with the talisman that's also increasing the time of it and the amount I gain, so that's not really as big of an issue. Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Now fuck right off.
Whether you run back towards the Realm Travel Room or use the teleporter is up to you. Probably better to do running back if you're at the first place, and if you're past the first place, use the teleporters. They're going to save a lot of time.
You scare up that alchemist what needed finding?
Nope, but I am about to.
Did you see something out there? That tower.
I see no tower.
Maybe I'm seeing things.
Normally,
I've gone on a trip like this with Mother.
that first Soul Eater I encountered in Alfheim, you can encounter one before you go to Alfheim if you do this side quest for Brock, or as well if you do the one for Sindri. The one for Sindri is optional. It's a Soul Eater that you can really go deal with at any time in the game. It will not attack you unless you attack it. However, this one that you will encounter for doing Brock's side quest, you will have to kill. Oh, whoops. There we go. Oh my gosh. Holy cow. That mower is loud.
Ah, I was wondering about this.
I need that alchemist for something I'm stewing up for you. If you're smart, you'll find him.
Now, most likely, it looks like with about the amount of time I have today, by the time I finish this zone, that's probably going to be about all I have time for.
Our journey.
You don't want to help him?
No.
Why not?
Because
Dwarven, but no ring. One of his crew?
scorch marks. There, along the floor and wall.
Clear. I guess we keep looking.
We.
I mean, I'll keep looking. That's a Soul Eater. If that kills us, that's it. No Valhalla, no hell, no afterlife, ever.
It does not attack.
Mom made them sound more dangerous than that.
Then do not drop your guard. Come.
So, this spot, try not to drop that fire thing down until that guy spawns in there in the corner. Then do go ahead, throw it, throw the axe, try to get the thing dropped. However, try not to get all that aggro going on yourself, so that way you get killed, like I was about to. These enemies, now is when they start adding this feature by the nightmares to possess other enemies. Doing so while possessed, the enemies heal health extremely fast, and if you knock their stun bar to full though, it will just knock the enemy out.
Not him.
Hey, I thought you didn't care.
I noticed the lack of ring while looting the body.
Oh.
Up ahead, just a revenant, not too big of a fight issue, especially not since at this point I am higher level than it, which is the real benefit, of course, to going to Alfheim before doing these quests, is that you'll be then higher level than they are, making them much easier than they would otherwise be.
No ring. We're not gonna find Brock's friend alive, are we?
And I think when you open up this chest, 2 nightmares are gonna pop out. Oh no, they just pop out just when you get close. That's good. Cool. Now, honestly, with how quickly I'm moving through this, I might have time to also do Sentry's side quest as well. But we'll see. Oh, the treasure map I just got is the one I mentioned earlier. How there was that little pile that if you go back to it and pick it up, it will be a nice little grouping of loot and some XP and money and various items. Usually all the treasure maps also have a more specialized rune stone that you can equip that is extremely useful. There's a few specific ones I know that I like to use early on and in the late game because they will either increase the amount of rage you get from attacks or like increase the duration of your rage, various things like that.
Attached to the Soul Eater. Well, we know what happened to Ivari now. We can just go tell Brock.
Yeah, you got fucked.
Fight, right?
No, we will fight it,
But why?
because you are frightened of it.
Solid reasoning there. This next fight can be a hassle sometimes due to all the nightmares spawning into the enemies and buffing them. Not always, of course, but obviously in a heavy unit it's kind of frustrating, so just deal with it as normal. Try and take it all out. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, especially since, you know, Spartan Rage. There's a guy up top who can be dealt with pretty easily overall. Just gotta kite these other guys away from Kratos for a moment so that I can. Okay. For the most part, the fight with this Soul Eater is, again, not too hard. There's a lot of pillars and hiding spots you can be behind. Just make sure to clear out any adds, you know, quickly as possible, so as to make the fight significantly easier. And as per the previous one, this one is not going to start attacking you until you start attacking it. Okay. Okay, there we go.
We did it! I can't believe it.
Green. Dwarvish inscription.
The alchemist. But where's the rest of him?
Ashes, most likely.
The Soul Eater got him. I guess we should bring this back to Brock.
As with before, a lot of the runic attacks are very useful. It's just kind of more how you like to do your playstyle, how you like to use them, and as with all of them, their fully upgraded versions are going to be significantly better than the unupgraded versions. And in most cases, the third upgrade is really the one that matters, not so much the second one.
Read it.
Yes, sir. These runes were written fast. It spells out Eugene Stainer. I don't know that one.
We were asked for the one.
So now you're interested?
We found his alchemist. A reward was promised.
Okay.
Prepare yourself.
Alright, and that's it for this side quest. You just have to turn to Brock right outside the entrance. Nice and easy. Looks like I do still have some time, so I'll probably go start on that side quest for Sindri. However, that one is significantly harder than this one overall, so I may not actually finish it. I know I said that before, but you know, we'll see. Who knows?
What'd you find?
Your alchemist.
Sorry.
Suppose you naturally yawning for
The pommel here is pretty useful. Only downside is that it's a very low chance. So you know, if you have
magic inside for good.
like a very large luck stat, if you have a very large luck stat, it will trigger much more frequently. And then, you know, since it's any axe hit, that could be much more beneficial because, you know, axe throws can trigger it, and then also just melee hits as well. However, you know, with my like 30-ish luck, that's really not super great compared to what I'm already using.
So, know any good stories to pass the time?
What kind of story?
I don't know. Mother always had stories. Weren't you told any when you were a boy?
There was a man I knew long ago. His stories were brief and purposeful.
Sounds fun. Do you remember any?
There was one that concerned a hare and a tortoise.
Like the witch's house?
Unlikely.
So
Oh,
what happened?
right. I need to turn around and get
Wager
that
on a race
treasure map.
between them. The hare is too confident of victory and foolish, while the tortoise is steady and disciplined. The tortoise wins.
You haven't told a lot of stories, have you?
Jeez. I can only imagine being told that story in person one time. It would just be kind of strange. Expecting more of a profound kind of story, and then it's that. I don't know. It's gonna be shocking, especially from Trace's background with being raised by the mother. Oh gosh. So, a lot of those enchantments that they give here are usually pretty darn good. Not all of them, though. Some of them are more just random enchantments of like a certain level or so, based on yours, and then others are always the exact same enchantment every time. So
The world serpent's even over here. I told you he's big.
alright. Real quickly, just gonna do this fight that I skipped before, since it was giving me some trouble. Just quickly take care of it now that I'm significantly stronger.
Yes, sir. Kavik.
What the? That was a little weird. I wasn't expecting to see him still laying there. That's, not normal, I suppose. Okay. Okay, here we go. Cool.
What's wrong?
We cannot
Oh,
Wait!
deal.
Thank
Alright.
you. You are learning.
Why didn't you or Mom ever tell me about the desolation?
I would speak for your mother, but it was never my concern. Nor should it be yours.
Doesn't it concern us if everything around us is dying?
Our only concern is reaching the peak.
Really? Then why are we exploring all these islands?
The resources we find improve our equipment. If we stray from the path, it is only to prepare ourselves for the journey ahead.
I can live with that if it means we keep exploring.
You tell him,
And helping
Kratos.
others.
Alright, so out of Brock and Sindri's
Another
quest,
story?
this one is Sindri's. It's quite a bit harder than Brock's. More higher level enemies, harder enemies,
A stag.
but still doable if you were wanting to do it at the earlier
A
time.
horse met a man, a hunter, and made a deal. Oh, We will finish that later.
Okay. Treasures from all different realms. You think that Fafnir went to Alfheim too?
I do not know.
Aren't you curious? He sounds interesting.
We go to the storeroom to collect anything useful for our journey, not to learn more about the dwarf.
Oh, there we go.
Found anything good in Fafnir's storeroom, like maybe a whetstone?
Ah, there it is. I was like, I know there's a raven around here. And that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible of a throw. There we go. Now, I do not have a resurrection stone, so I need to quickly buy one of those, obviously, just in case. I'm sure I'm gonna need it within this area at least once, based on some of the fights that happened.
How about you, young one? What else?
Okay. Now, let's see here. So, this skill is very useful, especially for the upcoming areas. Just helps out significantly with you doing the heavy AoE attacks on a lot of enemies. And so does this help as well, with just having a lot of singular punches on enemies over and over and over again. This is probably going to be one of the next things I go for, mainly because this ability here is the one, as you can see on the screen there, what Kratos does, that big punch onto the shield, puts out a big AoE burst stun, very useful for knocking enemies back, doing a bunch of stun damage, so on and so forth. There's a lot of ravens here in this area that are very easy to deal with. I think there's about 4 here that you can kill. That will, of course, you know, get you closer and closer to 15 for this earlier part, which once you get there, you'll get a ton of XP. So again, highly advise it. Oh gosh. There is a nightmare over there, good to get rid of, as with all the others, of course. Yeah, obvious reasons on that, I think. So,
Find another entrance. Our enemies are strong.
as before, nice little Nornir chest here. Another raven as well up on this ledge, and with one of those enemies that was standing right here shooting fireballs, instead of charging him like I did, you could of course just do that and it would kill him. But there's the raven, another one of them, and then for the Nornir chest, two of them are just right in front of the chest, and then the others up over on this little, right by this waterfall. Hit it first because of course it's further away and it's gonna ring for a while. However, I think I took a little too long on that one. Yeah. Usually it's advisable to try to not miss at all, otherwise it's gonna really cause issues. Whether you do these two first or that one first is up to you. However, I prefer to do the one that's the further throw first. Get it out of the way.
What's that?
Once you finish this quest, when you come back out here, there's going to be a Soul Eater that you can fight if you want. He is one of the harder Soul Eaters in the game, just due to some of the timing of spawns and the amount of damage he deals. However, he's still doable, of course, as with all of them, right when you first encounter him. Just, you know, be careful with the ads, be careful, you know, they could really cause issues if you don't properly deal with them. And I think they spawn around half health. I think that starts out, they're just none, but then about half health they spawn in. As with some of the other treasure maps I mentioned so far at certain spots, there is eventually going to be one, a little spot right around here that has a treasure map, you know, goal, though of course you can't pick it up until you've found the treasure map associated with it, but not too big of a deal.
Whoa.
Boy,
Another map. Bet we'll find something.
If you ever want to check what the treasure maps are leading to, just go over here to this little goals tab and go to the fourth thing over, and that's going to be where they're at. This one is really easy to get. I'm going to have to be grabbing this one on tomorrow's stream, and then this one as well I'm going to be doing tomorrow. It's a side zone with one of the 3 chained up dragons. I've gone there before to get the deal with the statue of Thor, that small statue of Thor that I broke. I could have done it at that earlier point in the game, but I wanted to wait just because it's extremely hard and I didn't really want to have to die a lot just to not get anything super useful yet. But now that the map's already there, I can be doing that tomorrow, of course.
Looks like the Reavers made it inside.
And then after I deal with this next room, I'm gonna have to be calling it quits for today. Now this first one's the easiest, just 2 heavy units, pretty easy overall. Just they are a little different. They are the speedier ones that make these shields around themselves. So just you know, use your runic attacks, use your use your Spartan Rage, you know, use your parries, everything. Just keep up with it. You should be fine. They're not the worst ever. Especially if you can trigger that big explosion over there with the barrels on them. It will do huge amounts of damage to them, making the fight significantly easier. And of course, if you can get them launched up into the air, do try. It will make it quite a bit easier as well. A lot of these rooms in here are going to have a large amount of health stones after them. And they're going to have a lot of stuff that you can break in them to spawn even more.
Low, boy, and you will never be disappointed.
And each room has the key to the next room after you beat the room, of course. Alright though, that is going to have to be it for me on today's stream. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.